Hello, it's time for AfroEconomics. And I'm telling you, it's been such, I don't even know if we should call it excitement, but it's been quite a morning. I did not even realize that the government had closed down. It is October 1st. The federal government, I should say. It's October 1st, 2025. Let me put this in the record books that this will not be a long time. One thing you can depend on if you're a federal employee, like a lot of my clients are, and you're at home right now, relax, enjoy the day because this is going to be short lived. I don't see that. I don't know. One of my, friends, dear friends, she said that might be another month because they had a month one time, Karen, but I don't know. I'm not seeing federal employees having a lot of time out of work. I'm hoping that it's just not going to happen. But one thing that you don't have to worry about when you're an entrepreneur, you know, you do not have to worry when you're an entrepreneur about being laid off. Hey, so I'm glad that we chose this topic for today because if you have your own business, you don't ever have to worry about that. You don't ever have to worry about that. But I want those of you who are at the federal government to know that don't hesitate to call if you just want to talk to me about it, but I'm going to tell you, my opinion is this is going to be short-lived. But I just, want to know, do we think that it helps? Do we think that it helps to decide on whose fault it is? You're live on camera, Miss King. I want to know, do you think we should blame it on someone, the government closing down?
Uh, I think it's a regular occurrence, really. So
No,
no, to not get stuck in the hype. That's
don't
what
get stuck.
you're teaching
Don't
me.
believe the hype.
That's what you're teaching me is don't let the hype pull
Short-term
you
hype.
in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Like, sometimes we feel like it might feel better. What about you, Mr. Gully? Do you think we should blame it on someone? He probably,
Well,
oh, he's going
can you
to
hear
answer.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A man
You
with a
can't blame.
plan.
You
Huh?
can't blame on. You cannot blame it on any one direct person.
No person? What about a whole party? Can we blame it on one particular party?
No, I think both parties have a share in it.
Oh, both parties? Both parties? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We got Karen from Florida. We got Mr. Gully from Texas. And they say that it is nobody's fault. Basically, that's what I heard y'all say. See how the media will interpret what you said? Y'all didn't really say that. Y'all said that it's both people's fault. Exactly.
But it has happened on both sides, whether it's a Republican president or a Democratic president. It has happened over the years.
Yeah. I don't remember like it happening until like say the last 10 years. Don't you think so? Like it's like a new thing that they actually decided that they
It's
have to
trying
make
to
a budget.
hold people hostage to get what they want. Like there might
Yeah,
be one thing in the to pass it, and people hold out for what they want.
exactly. 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 Yeah, Dr. Light says that if you point one finger, 4 points back at us. We need to tell Congress that, right?
True.
Look, the people in Congress have decided that those four fingers do not come back at them. They're just pointing outward, Ms. Lovett, outward. But what bothers me the most and is that I don't think they're really thinking about the workers. And they're really not thinking about like I think federal employees have gone through enough this year. And I think that the politicians should have said, "Hey, I don't want to do this. You know, you know, I don't feel right doing this to these employees. So we got to make sure we make a commitment. You know, like it's like they kind of, you know, get in their little box in the Capitol and they just forget that what they're doing really affects people. You know, it's real. Because I think as long as you just think about numbers or those people, you know, it doesn't, it's, you know, as long as you keep it impersonal. But me, I work with these people, you know, and I see the impact. And I can't imagine, you know, I remember during COVID when it was like they didn't want people to go to work. Like for some of us, that's what we do. I'm so glad, isn't it? Look, it is wonderful that we live in a world that thinks that financial services is an essential thing. Right, Karen? We had to work all the way through. Look, they're like, financial services is vital. You in financial services too. Remember you? We just worked. I don't know what I would do if
Yeah,
they said like you can't talk to your customers. You know what I mean? You can't solve these problems.
I want to respond to the question that you just had. I had to pull over for this one because I'm driving, but I
Well, we
wanted to
already
respond to the
answered.
question.
We already answered. It's been answered. I'm just joking. I'm
Okay.
just joking. Okay, we'll allow you to add on to it since you risked your life for it. Okay. Ready. We're ready. We're bracing ourselves. The question was, whose fault is it?
It's nobody's fault, okay? But this is what I remember from back in the 90s. There was a government shutdown that lasted for approximately 2 weeks. And I had two very close friends that were working for the federal government at the
Mm,
time. And they were making very decent money, what I thought it was very decent money. And all they did was spend, spend, spend. They had absolutely positively nothing saved, nothing put
mm,
back. I
come
mean,
on.
nothing. Not,
Walk
I mean,
through.
they
Come on.
couldn't even produce. I don't even think they could even produce. And these were single women with no children, like
Come on.
myself. And they could not produce not even $500
Oh
because,
man.
the money was
Look,
going
look,
towards
I'm
good
glad they
times.
had you. I'm glad they had you as
Wait
a
a
friend. Every,
minute. Wait,
every broke person needs a friend with some money. She got money,
wait,
y'all. She got
wait a
money,
minute.
y'all.
They were being some good timing and having just, I mean, and dressing like out of this world. I thought, and I would just look at them. I'm like, this is purely senseless. Here I
Yes,
am,
yes,
working two jobs. And
yes,
I'm saying, I
yes,
even kind of like, I said, take
yes,
a look, y'all, at this is what I put back. I said,
yeah,
now, if you stop spending this money on all this stupid stuff that you're buying,
yep, yep,
that makes absolutely no sense. Some of the most expensive makeup.
yep,
And
yep.
oh goodness.
But
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 anyway,
but we many women have been socialized that as long as they look good, eventually Mr. Gully will get their attention, like, and he will take care of them for the rest of their lives and pay all their bills because they had on the right look. That's the way we've been
uh-uh,
socialized. Even if most women, like, you're supposed to go to college
mm-mm,
and you're supposed to meet that guy and he's going to take care of it. So if you keep that mentality, you get older
mm-mm.
and you forgot. There's only,
But
you know what I mean? You maybe Prince Charming's not coming. Or-
but here's a point I wanted to make really. So when I saw that, I said to myself, you know what? I need to have at least something put back. I gotta have, some kind of nest egg. This could
That's right.
very easily happen to me. So
That's right.
that
That's right.
started that
Right.
extra stream of income that I, had grabbed onto, and
For 30
thank
years
God for
later,
that.
right? 30 years
Yeah,
later, you
but
got two jobs for 30 years. That's amazing.
but
Yeah,
JB, it didn't not work for me. I think it worked for me. I don't think it worked against me. I don't think so.
that's
So
right.
with
That's
that,
right. Look, Dr.
and
Light,
that,
Dr. Light said you shifted the blame and left the elected people that still get paid unaccountable. Come on and walk through, Dr. Light. That's right. They get paid to make decisions by midnight. Darn it. I made a commitment. I'm trying not to cuss anymore.
Oh, please.
I'm really trying. Even though I
We'll
do
give,
know that people that cuss are more likely to be honest, according to research. According
I'll
to
give you
research.
5 minutes.
According to research,
I'll give you
Acco-
5 minutes.
Literally, there is research
wait a
on
minute,
that.
who research?
It said on the world, on the Centers research. Centers research said that because a lot of people that don't cuss are hypocritical. That's why.
Uh-oh.
Jesus said he'd rather be with a sinner than a hypocrite.
Mhm.
Well,
Yes.
that's all of us then.
Yes, yes, we all sinners. So
There you
somebody
go.
a little cuss word every now and then. But I'm
Yeah, yeah.
trying. I'm trying. Only reason I'm trying is because I got some sort of conviction one day, the other day, and it said, JB, stop cussing. So I don't cuss anymore. So
Mhm.
you heard that. Darn, is darn a cuss word?
Not at all.
Hey man, darn is a nice girl. I'm that I am addressing my feminine side. What is that
Oh,
called?
please.
My feminine energy.
I,
See?
I have a I have a question real quick.
But you're masculine, lone wolf. Mr. Johnson said he cusses fluently. Mr. Gully, where'd you go? He said he had a question and then we lost him. But he's
Oh
all the
no no
way in Texas. Oh, you put on your headphone. Oh, uh oh. Brace
no,
ourselves
I'm
for the
still
question. Okay.
no. My question was, how do I cut my video because I'm about to run into the house. You know, I'm going to get on the road, so I got to do a couple of things. But I'm gonna listen to you all, okay? So
Okay.
I
Okay,
want
I
y'all to
got
see me
you.
getting undressed.
I got you. Exactly. No, you can stay on camera. No, exactly. Exactly. You look fit.
No,
Oh,
not
you did
today.
it. You did it. You did it. You did it. I love it. We got you. Go. Look. Yes, indeed. You still with us, Mr. Gully, but we cannot see you. In the but Mr. Gully is doing the marathon in Atlanta. He's coming to you, Weeda. He's
Is that
coming from
in November? Thanksgiving?
no, right now. He's in the car from Texas. I think he's headed to Atlanta now. Yeah. You should
I
follow
thought the
him.
marathon was on Thanksgiving.
You used to do
Okay.
marathons. You should. I'm gonna get you and Mr. Gully. Oh, here he is. Back connected because he'll have you running the marathons again. Mr. Gully, like
Not with
Weeda
the
used.
shoulder, not
Oh, he's not. Okay, okay.
quite yet.
That's right. He was kidding. Yeah, but he's headed to Atlanta. Y'all having like a half marathon, something like that, right? You're having a marathon.
I think
But
that's on Thanksgiving. That's usually around that time. And the
no,
real
it is
marathon, the full
now.
marathon,
Okay, he's coming back. He's coming back. Okay, can you get that
it's too
straight?
hot for
So
that.
that, oh, he's like he's getting look, look. It is not in Thanksgiving, Mr. Gully. Can you get her straight before you dismiss yourself?
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Uh huh.
Yes.
Okay. The race is Saturday on the 4th. It's actually called the race. It's a race put on
Oh,
by a black female race producer
okay.
for us by us, and it's going to be in the East Point location at the Impact Center Saturday morning at 7 a.m. It's just a half marathon and 5K.
See, you should go look we and
Okay.
support
It's
Okay.
it's
support
at the
our
Impact Center,
support our member.
2323
Wear your t-shirt.
2323 Sullivan Avenue or Sullivan Road, 2323 Impact Center. The expo starts Friday at 12 noon. They're
You
gonna
have
have
all
different
the details. You just
people
doing it.
there,
That's
and
great.
the race,
That will
the
be
actual group. Go ahead.
that's gonna be this Sunday. The race will be this
No,
Sunday.
the race is this Saturday. It's 7 a.m.
Saturday.
Saturday
Okay.
morning. It's
Okay.
7 a.m.
Yeah,
At
we.
It's
I
7.
mean,
it's
Okay.
we
it's
will
hosted at the
come.
Impact Center. It's hosted at
Okay. I
the
know what you're talking
Impact Center.
about.
Okay, cool beans. All
That's
right.
so good. Okay. Good luck. Win.
Oh yeah, I
Win.
trained for this.
That's
I'm
right.
ready.
That's right. That's
Okay.
so good.
All
You
right.
win. You win because you're a winner. That's good.
I like the way you think.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's so cool. You're gonna be there, Weeda. That's gonna be great. You should go.
I'm gonna try to meet him. You gotta get me his number and make sure it's okay. with him
Okay.
and all.
You can
And
see that. Okay, I'll
I'll go
get
and
that
meet
to
him.
her, Mr. Gully. I'm gonna let you. I'm
By
gonna
all
take.
means.
Yeah.
Okay,
It,
I'm taking you off camera now. Great. That's right. He should be. He should not be riding and driving. He's not. He was parked. He was parked. He's parked, and he's parked. He's parked. He's a riding drive, but he's going to run. The thing that's in by the black women in Atlanta, it's going to be a run. I was like, still, I know he's like, I can't get out of here. It's a run. Yeah, we're parked, and he's walking now. I'm taking you off camera now. Thank you, Mr. Gully. And I'm going to give Weeda your information because she will come out there and she will have on
I
her
will.
AfroEconomics t-shirt. Yo, yes, she will. Good job. Yes. You don't even need a hit. You don't even need a shoulder to run. So,
I don't
like,
need a shoulder.
no, exactly. So when you think about like now, especially with this, when you realize like a lot of times people feel a sense of security with their jobs that's not real, correct? Like it's just, you feel like, oh, this job will be here forever. And I think that one thing that we can learn from the federal government is that nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. But as entrepreneurs, a key question you have to ask yourself is, am I and Lone Wolf come in because Miss Davis left, so now Karen's all by herself. So Mr. Johnson, you should come in. Because Karen is an entrepreneur and she's serious about this. And yes indeed. But the key, thank you, Dr. Light, is like, are you able to face the inconsistencies that you will have with entrepreneurship? Like, people go, you don't know if you have a job tomorrow. Well, with as an entrepreneur, you don't know if you'll have a client tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So you have to ask yourself is, am I willing to live like that? It's something, this Karen is looking good and holding things down. That's right. Yes, she is. She, you know what? And all you would do is make her look better. All you would do. I don't know what's up with Code Red. Paul is scared to come in today. Entrepreneurship and financial literacy should be truly taught by schools. That's right. Beginning in elementary school. It is. It is taught in elementary school. Look. Look, that's what they think. You teach you how to count money. But the financial I posted the wrong one that I was trying to get from him. The 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 financial literacy that should be taught to us is the example that our parents set. If you always see your parents and they can't pay their bills and they're always having financial problems, that's financial literacy that you're teaching your kids. And you should know that your children are going to mimic that behavior. If you never can get ends to meet, you know what I'm saying, then your kids are going to learn that same thing. So a person who's brought up in a household that has an entrepreneur in the household is more likely to become an entrepreneur. That makes sense, Ms. King? Like, because they've seen it. They've seen it and they like it, or they see it and they hate it.
In years past, my daughter has always wanted to be an entrepreneur. She's 27, and I kept telling her, get a job, like get a job. And now that I'm retired, I see more of her side of it. That
Exactly.
I don't work
Exactly.
for a corporation.
Exactly.
I've watched you work
for
for
you.
a corporation, and I don't want to do it.
Good for
So
you.
I'm now more like, I understand what you're wanting to do.
Yes. And there are so many benefits as a parent, especially as a single parent, to be an entrepreneur, because it offers you so much more flexibility. That and unexpectedly becoming a single parent I was allowed to, because I have a business, my own business, I was allowed to set my own priorities for my child. she did not have to go to daycare because it was 7 weeks or 6 weeks. I brought a nanny into the office and built a nursery, you know what I mean, for her. Like, but only as an entrepreneur would I have been able to do that. No, even if I were working somewhere, she would have been down somewhere else. I was able to nurse her for as long as I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Because she was right there at the office with me. And entrepreneurship offers us that. And I remember a person saying to me, well, having your child here at the office, you know, don't you think that's unprofessional? And I was spending like 50,000 plus in my daycare for my child care, for my child, just because they were coming into the office. You know what I'm saying? No, it's not unprofessional. She's not at my desk. I have a nursery in my office. And at that point, I had, you know, a lot of space, this big building that I was, commercial property that I was owning at that time. So it was perfect for that time. And it was perfect for being an entrepreneur that I would have never really thought, because a lot of it was, oh, wow, should I just take a job now? And actually, you know, I had to always talk myself out of it, you know, and I would always get these job offers like, why don't you come and work for our firm, work for our firm, work for our firm? And I knew that if I just, it would not be always, but you know, that I'm so glad here 30 years later that I went through all of the market changes, all of the personal changes, and stuck with my dream. But it takes a lot of sacrifice. And there were times where I was completely terrified. When 9/11 and I was big and pregnant, and they closed down the market, I think, for 2 days. I had never seen that in my career. And I was like, what is going on? Am I going to be able to continue to do this? And God just said, hey, let's do this. Got all my clients on a call, conference call. And to this day, I have clients that have told me that they are as wealthy as they are because I did that 11. There won't no Zoom, y'all. 2001, it was a Zoom. So all of us had to just get on this conference call, and I was like, this is what we're doing. And you know, we had to call my assistants had to call everybody. Nobody was like checking emails every day back then and this and that. Just had to call and say, hey, JB's going to be talking at 12 o'clock. We're going to all get on this conference call at 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock. After these things have just been blown into. But I didn't want my clients going crazy because they closed the stock market. Because they closed the stock market because people had started going crazy. They closed it. You could not sell even if you wanted to. That's right. You have to learn about entrepreneurship from being around entrepreneurs. And that's why I started the entrepreneurship membership of AfroEconomics, because when I started my business in 1995, nobody wanted to help me. And those little government programs that tell you about government loans are totally insignificant. If you have to start a business by going into debt, you pretty much already have a problem. You should quote me on that. Hashtag JB Bryan. If you need a loan to start your business, you already have a problem. I started my business with customers. I didn't start it with a loan. So all these little programs, the class, they go, oh, start your own business, small business, da 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 da. You look at the fine print, you're just giving away your money. You're just giving it away. And it's a security blanket that just does not exist. You're starting off in negative. Now, if you have partners and people that believe in you and you got family that will put money into it and you're going to give them some of the shares of your corporation because you decided to set it up as a C Corp or S Corp, then you got something. You're doing private placements. You have people doing equity interest, buying ownership into your company, like the companies on Wall Street, but you're just doing what is called private. Like how Motown was started. His family members gave him money. That's how he just got them all together and said, hey, but mostly he had talent. He had customers. He had the product. You have the service, and you got to get to work. It makes you think you have a cushion that you really just don't have. You think, oh, I got this cushion, I got this $20,000 over here, and you had to put your house up on the lien for it because all of them want collateral. I think that one thing that the government could do to help the United States of America is to do small business loans based on ownership interest, not on equity in people's homes and things. That there are countries that do that they do have ownership interest in these small companies. It shouldn't just be TikTok that is a partnership with the government. That's basically what they're doing, Karen. The government, is involved with this whole TikTok deal. So it means the government owns part of TikTok. Mm. The government owns a whole lot of like Bitcoin, and they put it over in reserve. Mm-hmm. So it's like, there is, we can say that we have capitalism all we want, but it's fake. There's a lot of these corporations are held up by the investments from the government, like what we're going through right now. This is about how much health insurance companies make by people who do not have citizenship. This is a fight to keep those health insurance companies with that government money. It's not about us. It's not about the workers. It's about corporate America and the health insurance companies that own that side of the line. So they're putting up money and saying, you fight, because we don't want to lose these millions of dollars that y'all are spending on non-citizens. So what? You deal with the shutdown. Because there's a lot of money on the line, and it has nothing to do with us. Nobody ever checks. We're not checking. What I tell y'all all the time, follow the money. Follow the money. Follow the money. Like with the Tylenol situation. So like our government is all involved in corporate. So our government, my point is just to say that our government could help small businesses if they wanted to. And small businesses are major employers. I don't know. What's she doing over there, Weed? Oh, you hearing me twice. I'm like, who is that woman yelling?
She has to stop the show that's on the left so she can, there you go. Oh,
I just did that. Yeah, she's something else. But back to some key questions to ask yourself. My thing is, and you'll have to let me know, Mr. Gully, if you want to come back in. If you're willing to come back in, you'll have to type it because I don't want to mess you up. So I don't know, and if you see it or if he says something, okay, Weed, I'm gonna try to get you back in. So the key question is that one thing that I realized is that when a person asks me, and I remember, I don't know what's up with you, Weed. I'm gonna try to mute you. So poor Weed.
I don't know. Wait a minute. I'm gonna try one more thing. Hold on.
You have me open up on YouTube somewhere.
Let me come out.
Yeah, click that YouTube. But she thinks it's her and it's not her. Poor thing. So some key questions. One thing is that if somebody asks you, Are you really ready to own your own business? You know, I don't think that you're ready to own your own business. And you're going to get a lot of that. I got that. I got it. You're too young. You know, I was like just turning 28. Like, you know, it was just like, you're too young and nobody's going to invest with you. You know, don't do that. Stay at that company, stay at that firm for a little bit longer, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I had to make a decision that I would not associate with those type of people. If they said it, like I had this accountant that said it one time, like she let it come out of her mouth, like, why are you doing this? And I just fired her. I was like, I can't work with anybody like that. You either have to believe, if you're on my payroll, you have to believe in my vision. I didn't ask you, should I? I'm doing it already. I didn't even ask anybody's opinion. They will tell you their opinion and you ain't even asked. You know, so if you get anything out of this, if you want to have your own business, you have your business. But you and me have to figure out what you have to do this thing correctly. I have watched all these people become so successful and then they just end up like bankrupt and all this, ruining their name, you know, all this, you know, stuff. You've seen it with all, you know, these people with different companies, even getting on Shark Tank and then falling all apart miserably, hiding from bill collectors, all of that because they did not partner with the right people. All they partnered with was yes people. You have to have people on your team that are in it to win it, not just to make money off you. Well, it's one thing, like I have committed from day one to only associate myself with people that want to be wealthy, want to move forward, want to progress. You know, if I have a client and I'm telling you, I could tell you, I have people, I will give you their number that I said, you're determined to be broke. I can't help you. Lottery winner one time. She was determined to be broke. Karen, I had to turn her away. I was like, I can't help you. She said, you know how many people would be happy? I said, well, let them be happy with you. But I'm not going to sit here and watch you ruin your daughter's life. Not just you. You got a child that I'm watching out for. You're not. She didn't care about the welfare of her child. You're just sitting here wasting money. Yeah. Spirit killers, exactly, Mr. Brown. You know, and they're like, you know, but if the person is coming at you and you know this is what you want to do and you are convinced that this is what you want to do, you have to be willing to sacrifice everything to make it work. That's what makes no sense. So you see people who are like, well, I want this. Like I remember this one lady and she had an apartment unit. So she has the apartment unit, but she didn't want to work. She didn't want to make any money. She didn't have it occupied and she couldn't pay the payment. So her whole goal in life was to get me to figure out how we could keep modifying the government loan that's on the property. And I said, but you're losing this battle. You're losing this battle. You're losing it. So even if they modify this loan, you are going to lose this property because you don't have the income to pay the payment. So they change it. Let you start all over. You don't have any income and you don't have tenants. So we got to get this thing occupied. That real estate property is an entrepreneur. They're still an entrepreneur. People don't see themselves as entrepreneurs when they are. And then I've had people whose accountant has told them, you're not an entrepreneur. You only have a hobby. Go somewhere else. That's crazy. You know, you can't write off that, you know, expense. You can't count that money that you made when it's wrong. It's wrong to not count. Every dime of income is supposed to be counted. And every expense associated with that income is supposed to be counted. So a lot about Entrepreneurship is you learning what type of structure your business has to have. If it should be a sole proprietorship, or if it should be a C corp, or it should be an S corp, or it should be a LLC. How in the world? See, I wanted to cuss right there, and I did. Look at that. How in the world? You could throw in a random cuss word, Mr. Johnson. You said you a fluent cusser, because you throw in the word. I'm gonna say how in the world, and you just throw it. I'm just joking. Somebody gonna get mad. But how in the world? You know, can people feel like they don't have to be accountable for, just because the accountant can say you're not legit, and we fall for that. Don't fall for that. And what were you going to say? And please don't start it with I don't agree.
No, I don't agree.
Shut up. I don't agree. Miss King, that is his favorite phrase. It doesn't matter what I'm saying, he says, I don't agree. I could say, like, you know what? December is a great month. I don't agree. Anything.
No, that's my month. That's my birth month.
That's your month. Is it December for like 28th or 9th, huh? 29th.
29th.
Uh-oh. I'm not bad, am I, Miss King? I'm not bad. Not bad. But it will zoom right by, and I'll be like, dang, I forgot it. I told you like 30 seconds before she said I did not cuss, girl. Snoopy D talking. That's Miss Davis. Well, what were you gonna say? Like, can you feel my argument about don't let anybody talk you out of it? You know what I mean? Like, that's the first thing that we have to realize as entrepreneurs, that if this is your decision, then you have to like I'm sure you had 1,000 reasons why not to do firearm training. Like everything is blamed on firearm training. Oh, if you never learned, if it's just child never, the parent never learned. Nobody ever learns to shoot a gun, then we'll have no gun violence.
Yeah, I think the first thing is don't talk yourself out of it. Forget what somebody else say. Don't you convince yourself that you're not ready for it. A lot of people, they talk themselves out of it, and they never do it.
Never even talk to me about it. That's so true.
Yeah.
Never. That's a good point. So many dreams like left. What do you say about the graveyard?
The graveyard, yes. The most expensive real estate in the whole world is the graveyard. Unfulfilled dreams. People just taking dreams, desires, visions to the grave, never pursuing them. So the first thing is don't you talk yourself out of it. And in a moment like this, like I said, when I got fired from my job, I told them that was the best thing they did for me.
Amen.
Amen. Now I'm really gonna get you now.
Amen. Amen.
So
it did
if
you a favor.
You're laid off right now, this is an opportunity right here.
That's right. I've never, especially with men, I've never met a successful man that didn't go through some stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it ended up being to his betterment. Like, especially in our community, we're gonna go through some stuff. And then, but it's how we handle it, how the man handled it. He turns it into, oh, but I didn't get into sales until after I lost my cushy job. You know what I'm saying? They'll tell me some story like that. Like, it's like my first well, not first, but like my most respected boss I ever had. He never went to college. And he was my manager at radio sales. And he managed people with all those degrees. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't have it. And he knew sales up and down. Like, he didn't know it from a textbook. He knew it from, this is how you treat people. And that's everything. That has been everything. And so when I became a stockbroker, I modeled their behavior. My manager, like, men 20, 30 years older than me when I met them. Like, yeah, they were like my age when I met them and coming out of college. But they taught me how to treat people, how to talk and listen. So it doesn't matter as much the product or the service. If you're a plumber and you don't know how to listen to the person telling you there's something stuck in my drain, you ain't going far. Sales is everything with entrepreneurship. So do you have your skills ready? Because some people think just because they're good at what they do, they can become an entrepreneur. It's totally different. When you're an entrepreneur, your first thing is sales and service. It's you. It's you. That you want to try to hire somebody to come in between you, then you already cut your money in half. You already messed up your profits because you look. I mean, and there are people that say that. I don't like people. I don't like to work with the customer. Oh my goodness. So what are you gonna do? Then you're gonna have, you know what I'm saying, someone else. So you like it, you know what I'm saying, but you're gonna have to have someone else then. Make sure you better just make some widgets and just sell them, like make bottle tops. You can be an entrepreneur that makes bottle tops. It does not involve people. It does though, because you still have to sell the bottle tops, huh, Mr. Brown? You'd have to talk to Coca-Cola, somebody to use your bottle tops. To speak against your, Mr. Brown said, Willie Brown, to speak against your vision and your business idea is to hate your self-identity. That is, in reality, the foundation for success. Exactly, your self-identity. Amen. Mr. Brown, you got to come in, talk with us. Exactly. He's the we would love it. Because I know you're a grown man. You're older than all of us. Teach us some stuff. That's right. Look, well, age comes wisdom when it's somebody smart like you. But it doesn't always, does it, Mr. Johnson?
Absolutely.
You can get old and dumb.
Yeah, I know a lot of those.
some additional, like some things I want you to think about, some key questions that are for you as you're thinking about your business. And we have two entrepreneurs right here. So y'all ask questions. So if you are an entrepreneur, as you're starting your business, what would you do if you had a major competitor that came into your marketplace right after you start your business? Because that's going to happen. That's going to happen.
To find out my niche. Like, how am I different from that competitor? We both might be selling the same product, but one might be high end and one might. So I have to figure out how I stand apart from my competitor, because a bank is a bank, but how you provide your products and how you provide your service to your customers is what gravitates you to one bank versus another, how they treat you.
That's right. That's right. And sometimes, like, people try to be everything, and that could be, work to their detriment. Like you said, then they don't know their niche because they're trying to be everything. They go, oh, I do that too. We do that too. We do that too. I see that with entrepreneurs a lot. They
So
just
JB,
they think they want to say they do everything.
When I one of the reasons why I did the firearms piece, I had a good brother I was working with, a great brother. We were training civilians to become unarmed police officers. We were doing everything. I mean, SPOs, bomb threats. But I had a vision to train everybody. He wanted to make people SPOs, armed police officers.
What's that
I
mean?
had a vision for everybody.
What's that SBO?
A special police officer. You get the armed police officers. You get the armed police officers. And I enjoy making civilians armed police officers. I enjoy that whole training process because, again, people don't realize that these special police officers that you see in these streets, in these convenience stores, at these grocery stores, when they're working, they have the same power as your regular state, county, or municipal police officer while they're working.
That's right.
They're armed. Don't get it twisted. So, but I had a bigger vision. I said, you know what? I want to train everybody. And I said, it's enough for everybody.
And instead of just the police officers.
Yes, yeah.
I think in that, like, that makes sense because, that niche is so small and probably more competitive with just doing the police officers, and when you opened it up, it does cost more to serve us though, because a police officer is coming at you with more information. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people off the street, we don't know anything. So
Mm-hmm.
the lower the knowledge of the customer, the more it costs you to serve them. Isn't that
Right.
something?
Right.
That's why like a lot of the products that focus on Black customers always have high sales charges because it takes more to serve us. But that's my niche. I only do no loads for our community, but our community doesn't know enough to know how much more money they're making because they're with me. Isn't that
Mm-hmm.
something? But it's like, but it's out there, and that's how they make so much money. That's how like Primerica, you know what I mean? Well, you know what I'm saying? And at the core, they have like an 5%, huge markup. And I started seeing that, but it's, they know that there's going to be more service and they're not trying to do so. They're like, no, we're going to make more money. That's what we're going to do. And it's not that, it's not as much discrimination as it is we have to allow that to happen because JB Bryan is right here. So we're choosing that. It's just choosing that. So if they can't count it as discrimination either, because the industry will say, well, you see how many more service calls they get with that. They get with that, the community, their niche. Like, so they, they get the right to do that. It's not illegal, especially if we allow it. So, definitely and people will say, well, black people cost so much. Well, no, that means that you're not pricing your product correctly for the person that you're serving. They expect you know what I mean, so much. Well, then that means if your customers expect that, then it's like basically the difference between coach and first class. We expect first class.
Right. Right. I think with me, my prices are expensive because you're getting you're getting a police version. I mean, you're getting at least 3 decades of experience. I'm not going to teach you the civilian way. I'm going to teach you really how to stop that threat and how to really, become responsible firearm owners and users.
But before when I was training in firearm, the person never talked to me. They never asked me like, oh, they didn't care about me. Like, you get to know your people.
Right.
Like, so when they would be using it, what they want it for, how it's going to be used. You just walk into one of those places, they don't care.
Mm.
We're just going to teach you. Kill the threat. You know what I'm saying? They come in your house, shoot to kill. You know what I'm saying? You know? That's what I was taught. You might not say that because our community, like, you're gonna have some serious issues. You kill them. They don't have that concern. The majority community do not have that concern. They're not looking at me as this black person, and black people, in the judicial system is a little bit different. They're not looking. So yeah, we also have to realize like that is a, and I'm glad that you see that as a strength of your business.
Right.
That your people, your customers, you get to know who you're helping, regardless of who they are. You get to know them, and then having that background in law enforcement also, helps you teach us how people see it, how weapons are viewed. It's something. It's a whole, but whatever it is that we choose to do, like Mr. Gully has a fitness business, and how he has to choose to brand. Mr. Barber was asking me about branding, but we could see on your shirt, like, look at the difference. Like Lone Wolf has his branding plain and simple, firearm looking, almost like military style.
Well, today I'm wearing the Jefferson Hotel shirt.
Oh, is that what that says? I thought, but it looks
Jefferson.
similar. It looks similar to yours.
Yeah, but normally I do wear my Lone Wolf piece.
But let's just say that is that, for branding's sake. And then and then you can see where's your brand? Where's your brand, Karen? Your brand is just classy, pretty.
I don't have one.
Exactly, exactly.
I have not created
It's
a
classy pretty. It's classy
brand
pretty.
ID. I mean, my business is open. Karen King and Associates has been open for 7 years, but I haven't done like a website or branding, and it's an S corp. But the way when I opened my business, it was set up to serve risk and controls, program management, process improvement. Like I'm a process expert, so I had put that. But now, as I'm retired, really all of it is up for an option.
That's right.
I don't have to only stay in what I did in corporate America.
That's right. That's right. And look,
Like
and
I
no
spoke
more.
to people all the
Right.
time and led and managed people for my career. So I can do more than just what I was paid for.
Look, and no more conflict of interest worries.
Right.
You know, you can do whatever you want to do. That's so good. That's so
Right.
good.
With investments.
Mr. Gully, can you tell us about your branding?
I sure can. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, my branding, first of all, the logo you see right there, that's actually me pointing up at
Oh,
God and the number of the number 4. So my name is Feasting on Fitness, the number 4 life, Feasting on Fitness for Life. And my primary objective is to reach out to as many, especially black men of color, um, 40 and up, and ask them, encourage them to get more active by moving their body, because so many of us are dying from, first of all, we are dealing with health issues that, some things, it is what it is, but some things can be corrected or rid of or managed if we just got more active in our lives.
amen.
I'm 61 years young, and I recently ran a 100-mile trail race with over 9,000 feet of elevation.
Oh my
So when
goodness.
someone used their age as a reason to stop moving their body, a body in motion stays in motion, but body at rest will stay at rest, and over a period of time it will weaken. And
Ooh.
so how do we kill the weakened part of the body? By doing what we did when we was younger. I used to hear people say, well, when you become an adult, when you become I guess mature, you stop doing childish things. Well, going outside playing, if you played basketball when you was younger, it kept you agile,
Mm,
strong, it kept your heart healthy and strong.
mm,
Why not continue that if it
mm.
makes you feel good?
Yeah.
And a lot of us want to look good. And I'm gonna tell you, I was a guy who was I love the dress. I looked good, but you know what? I was casket ready because inside of me, I was a mess.
Mm,
I had no wind. I wasn't going to the doctor. So at the age of 56,
amen.
I didn't grow up in athletics, so I don't have any
Mm,
athletic background. I
that's
started at
right.
the age of 56, and at
Amen.
the age of 56, I started running. God whispered into my spiritual ear and told me to run, Vincent. But He says, I run, be of encouragement to other people.
That's right.
And you all, I went on at the age of 60 to get my adult running coaching certification because I wanted to know the science behind running as well. So I didn't
Amen.
want to just be out there willy-nilly just doing something. And I must confess, I've never had an injury. I was in the
Amen.
Marine Corps, and they taught me a few things, but what they taught me in the Marine Corps, it was how to survive war. It's how to fight, how to
Mm,
kill, how to come back home, right?
mm,
So a lot of people would think that if you was in the military, you got to be in the best shape. No, you're in shape for fighting, but that's it. You're not in
yeah.
shape for life. So now this
Amen.
is about life for me. And
Amen.
it's about reaching out, reaching back to the community and encouraging them. Don't do what I do what's best for you. And I meet you where you are. And I do it quite
Amen.
often. I meet people all over Dallas, Texas, no matter where they are, and I start running with them or walking with them,
That's
whatever,
so good.
wherever they are.
That's
And
so
that's
good.
just what it's about. Just encouraging us,
That's
not just
right.
by not by just lip service,
That's
but
right.
actually living the life. So
That's right.
I'm living it.
That's
I'm on
right.
my way to Atlanta, Georgia to run the Atlanta Hills. And when I get done with run the half marathon on Saturday 12 noon, I'm going up into the mountains to hike. So
That's
I'm
right.
constantly moving my body.
That's so good. And that it's funny though, Mr. Johnson and Karen like to swim. They both are like swimmers. They don't know. Y'all didn't know that y'all had that in common. Like with the
I love to
but
swim.
well,
Yeah.
I know that y'all have that in common. But like, yeah, they love to swim. But whatever it is, right? Whatever,
Yeah.
what did you say? Is fitness for feast on fitness for life, right? Like just
Feasting on
on
fitness
fitness
for life.
for life. Like it didn't say it has to be running. It doesn't have to be anything, but like we're
I
feasting
lost
on it. Like
it. I
what
ain't
a
hear you.
good concept. What a good brand. That's what a good brand. Thank you. That's fantastic.
Smart car.
Like, so like each of
What
you,
I heard, JB, what I heard from both of them, and going back to your offsite, this is inspiring
that's
versus
right.
remember when Coach Tripp said motivation versus inspiration?
Mm,
I think you have to have inspiration to
hmm.
be an entrepreneur
That's right. That's right.
versus
Exactly.
motivation. The inspiration part of wanting to help other people, wanting to share your gifts.
That's right. That's right. And Dr. Light, when they limit the term brand to just a type of product manufactured, they're really limiting really what brand is. And that's what I see. Like we live in a world that's very product driven, but where you really can build a business is through service, and service gets skipped over a lot. Like, so if we start really looking at like your service, like what we're talking about now, what Karen just shared, like these are services that we're providing. And we created a brand from them, but the service is the product. The service is indeed the product. Correct. And it's easy. I mean, and easily, a service can be a product. I mean, a service can be your brand. The how you do your service, what your niche is. As Mr. Gully said, like I like to focus on men. He like to focus on men, but he does a lot with women because going to run with women this weekend. But it's about feasting on fitness. But I think that it's easy when you're just like, hey, I'm a man, so you know what I mean. You feel like more men will be inspired by you, but you just never know. Never know. It's obvious that women are inspired by him too. I bet when you started your firearm company, you never thought that women would be so interested. But aren't women like the ones who are probably doing it the most now?
Yeah, full disclosure, I think I've trained more women than guys.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
It's something about the women. They, uh, um, I don't want to say this, but I keep saying this. I think that the guy's self-preservation switch has been deactivated.
Oh man.
Okay, and women just instinctively, especially the single ones, realize, you know what, I ain't got to buy it around. I got to do it myself.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but yeah,
That's something.
so the women
And you
are
think
really,
you did well, it could be just because of the cultural stuff that they see, they kind of feel like they're not worthy of having a weapon. And that's really sad, that men would begin to feel that way, that it's like, I better not even just have one, and hopefully what you're doing will change that. That men will feel like, okay, if I do this thing properly, I learn how to use it, and I learn when and how and where and learn the law,
right.
then they'll begin to protect themselves again. Goodness.
Might
She
I say
said,
something on that?
uh-huh. He look, well,
Um,
we look, I'm gonna preface like you cause he's saying this from Texas. He in Texas.
here in Texas, one of the biggest things that prevent men from legally owning weapons and going get the proper training is their background. You know, in
Oh,
Texas, once you get a felon, or you become a felony, where
yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I'm trying to say.
yeah.
You cannot own a weapon,
Right.
Wow.
and it used to be like if you commit a crime, you do your time, pay your debt to society, and then it should be forgiven. But it's not forgiven. So
True.
what happens, someone young just do something foolish, whatever, knowingly or unknowingly, or sometimes you get caught up in a bad situation, right?
That's
And you
right.
change your life. but they hold that forever against you though. So
That's so sad. You're right. You're right. You're right. That's a good point because I don't know if there's any statute of limitation on the felony, is it? Like, I,
No, but look at
they,
it.
no,
Let me say something. I
that's
think
crazy.
with the felon piece is this. You got to realize this. You can get it expunged. I've trained multiple people who've had some real interesting things on their record, and they got expunged, and they went into the military.
Mm,
So it can be expunged. But I'll say this to anybody who's a felon, because when I think felon, I'm not thinking a crime. I'm thinking time. 1 year or more makes you a felon
mm,
in jail.
mm,
Less than a year, it's a misdemeanor.
mm.
true.
Okay. But I'm saying because I don't know who I'm training. I
Yeah.
don't know where they coming from.
Okay. You can
I'm
train
training any and
someone
everybody.
without the
I don't ask
background.
no questions because you know your situation better than me.
Good for
You
you.
come to
Okay,
me with arms,
Yeah.
you're gonna get that training.
Yeah.
okay,
And the state gonna certify
But
you.
we can train them.
I can
But
train
like,
you.
yeah, but if
You can
they're
train.
not going to be able to get, the
But
concealed
let's look
weapon and
here.
all that.
I
Yeah.
do asps, baton. I'm
Yeah.
instructed with that. And, knives. Look, there's more than one way
Oh,
to protect
okay.
yourself.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Now that's a good point.
Yeah.
And you might want to change it to like lone wolf protection. Because when you say firearm, we really do only think firearm. But that's a
yeah.
very good point that you can train in all forms of protection.
Right.
I was having a dream last night and I couldn't punch.
You still can't punch.
I think I can.
You
I've
you
never punched a person,
you a
but
hurler. You a thrower.
I would like to get and I would like to attend a class to just see. I mean, literally in that dream, I could not punch.
Well, you talking about palm strikes? You talking about fist strikes,
Yeah,
right?
no, it was like I was trying to fist strike. I don't even know who I was trying to fist strike, but I couldn't punch.
Well,
Or
in a
it was
real fight,
it
you
was a
don't want to
rough
use your
night.
fists. You want to
But
use your palms.
but that kind of training, because literally a lot of people are probably I'm probably not the only person that hasn't been in a fight with anybody but my siblings as a little kid. Like, what I mean? I haven't been in a fight. So what would happen? Like sometimes on the street and I'm like the person, you see someone and I go to myself, like, what would I do? So I go, okay, I got my keys in my hand. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to think about like what would I do if they come at me? But we do need to think about those things, and having a protection class would be helpful. I
I
would
took
True.
a
I wouldn't know.
kickboxing class, and that was very helpful. Kickboxing was very helpful with punching and kicking. I did feel a bit safer after taking that. The
Really?
kickboxing class was for my physical fitness, but I
Yeah.
ended up learning some skills to protect myself through
Mhm.
taking kickboxing class. It was fun.
But what I feel about kickboxing is I feel like a woman kicking is leaving herself vulnerable
But
because
you're
your leg
also,
is all up in the air. Like, and
well, they
all I
teach
gotta
you
do is I grab your leg.
no,
It's harder to grab my arms than my leg. You grab you put your leg up and see what I'm gonna do with it. Like I would have no problem grabbing your leg. Like that's
but
a
then
good
you're
one.
pulling them over when they grab your leg. You pull them. They're off balance when that happens, and so you have more control.
Only if you really strong. But if
You
he's
know, you
stronger,
lifting your leg or them lifting their leg.
like if you have one leg up, you're at your weakest point. Because this man is stronger than you already. So
I would then
he
go
can
to
drag
punch
you,
him in the
he can
throat
drag you all the way down the street. I can drag you,
or
Karen.
inverse his elbow.
If you don't put your leg up. What do you think, Mr. Johnson? But I feel like putting our legs up makes us vulnerable. Unless like, you know what I'm saying? Like but I can understand what you're saying because I feel like some of those classes make women feel more aggressive, like you said. Like you feel like you're like, hey, killer, come, but I just left my kickboxing class. And I'm like, blah blah, blah blah, and I'm thinking, I know how strong men are. Like I'm very strong for a woman, but a man half my size is stronger than me. So
Mhm.
remember that. Remember that, like these guys are just very strong, like they're just made different. So a little guy, like 150 pounds, I've seen them squat 600, 650. They're very strong. Like, so we're made different. So I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? First of all, I don't want to get in a fight with a man. So I think our first defense should be run. So that's why I'm learning to run. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but don't, but don't, but don't put your leg up. What do you think now? Okay, so now that's all mine. Like I know you said so. So you got one person says, "Hey, kick him." One person says, "Don't put your leg up." Like, what do you say, Mr. Johnson?
Look, I don't think no woman should be out here trying to fight no man in no way.
Yeah.
But if you have to fight to defend yourself, you're not boxing. It's about survival. You use whatever you can. You scratching, you biting, you grabbing, and if somebody's trying to really capture you, you drop. I wouldn't even try to run per se. I would just drop to the ground and hold on to that leg and scream for help as loud as I can.
Okay.
Because now you're talking about just dead weight now.
Yes. Yes. You see what I'm saying, Karen? He said, get in it.
Drop
Just
to
get,
the ground
because
and
you're
you
so
grab that
light.
leg.
See, he knows how small you are already. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, like, if he had to choose, like, yeah, if he has to choose, they're going to choose a smaller person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why I think like, if you have your keys, like, have a pointy key out in between your fingers. I didn't have that in my dream, but if I have my key out and I pointed,
You got a lot of aggression with you. There's a lot of aggression with you.
but that class protection is quite a product in today's time. I think that is product. I think I'm gonna come out with that. Next week we're gonna talk about personal protection. How to whoop some AWS. See, I ain't say it.
Shuck it.
Exactly. I am a clean mouth. So just one more question I'm gonna ask y'all, and I'm gonna let y'all go. Also, before you start your business, what is your current financial situation?
Mm.
Can your personal life, your kids, just you, whatever it is, can you handle this? What is your personal financial situation? And we need to, like, really sit down and talk about that. You might have a whole bunch of debt. I was able to start my business because I didn't have a lot of debt. So, but if you have a whole lot of debt and a whole bunch of stuff you're trying to keep, you might need to go work for somebody. But I wouldn't say that. It's like, but you're just gonna have to realize, how bad do you want it, right? That's the question. The key question: how bad do you want it? How much are you willing to invest in your dream? Is there anything you all would want to add before we left on just or ask me any questions about? Like, my point of this discussion is that I've been doing this 30 years, and that's rarity. So how many people do we really know that has had their own business, no partner except for God, for 30 years that we can really just call on as a resource? There's absolutely nothing dealing with owning your own business that you cannot ask me about, and I'm going to have feedback on it. Even if it's, okay, we need to get this, we need to get this involved, You know what you do, but I know all of the finances, all the corporate structure, all of the ins and outs, all of the tax strategies, all of that. I know all of the worst the case, the best the case, the best. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it from a less emotional point of view than you are. So I feel that, as I said many times, AfroEconomics is a creation of me being alone. And I literally did not want anybody else to feel alone. Like, we don't need to be alone. And especially when you're trying to start your own business or you have your own dream, we need, other communities are more successful because they have more people to call on. I mean, look at how rare it is. Do you know anybody else right offhand, just like that, that's had a business? I mean, famous or not famous, for 30 years, you know what I'm saying? That's still working.
I've watched my friends who've always have been entrepreneurs pivot. They had a very successful chicken place.
Mm,
And then they sold it because it became so successful that other people wanted it from them.
mm.
And so they sold it. And then they turned around and pivoted and did something completely different. And I'm so impressed with how they renew themselves.
That's right.
They just go find another thing to try. And if
That's
it
right.
fails, they just pivot to another thing. Like
Right.
being an entrepreneur is their only option.
That's
And
right.
they are going to keep trying something. And it just impresses me
Well,
so much how they're able to pivot. Like they've gone from like having all these chicken stores, sold that, to doing something online, didn't work, and now they're like selling loans for real estate. And I'm like, how did you go from chicken to selling real estate? It's because
But Karen, I don't want you to ever go through that, because you know how expensive that is, though. I know you admire it, but if I showed you the numbers on how much they lost doing that because they don't know anybody like me, you know what I'm saying? You would cry for them.
I've watched them go through a lot of money.
They do that.
They've gone through a lot of money.
And a lot of times they do these things because people they can't use their name anymore. They've messed up some stuff. They got to switch their name. They got to get out of that business because they ain't letting them back in that no more. Like, you know, like that, as entrepreneurs, we have to be very, very, very careful, because you're a blessing, because you're a process engineer. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, and you see it as pivot. But as entrepreneurs, we see that as fuck ups. My only cuss words. My only cuss word. My only cuss word. My only cuss word. But that was appropriate at that particular time. I just wanted to articulate the difference between the way you see it as a process engineer and the way we see it as an entrepreneur. Is like, oh, they fucking up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because every time, do you know if I did that, nobody would know my name. The only reason you're talking to me is because it took 20 years for me to cross your path doing the same exact thing. So it's like boom, 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 boom. You Google JB Bryan, I'm the first that comes up. That took years. When I started going by JB Bryan, there was a white man that came up first. That's my name now. You know what I'm saying? But that takes boom, 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 boom. It takes some time. And when we switch, you know, so like, and then some people like say serial entrepreneurs. Well, when you're a serial entrepreneur, you just come up with the idea and you get rid of it right then. You just got to get rid of it. You don't spend time doing it, put stuff in it, buy equipment, da da da. Serial entrepreneur that is very effective. They just come up with the idea, sell the idea. Come up with the idea, sell the idea. Come up with the idea. That's their product, coming up with ideas. You know, I could do something like that. You know what I'm saying? I can think of ideas, boom, boom, boom. But you, Karen, you take an idea from the idea to you fill it out. That wouldn't have happened to you because you're so addicted to processes that you can't get that. You're going from beginning to end, or you ain't starting. You know what's on the end of that bridge because you think that way. A lot of people don't think that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that way. So that's why I always do the exact same thing. I do what I do, because when the processes get all complicated and I'm trying to do this, I don't want to go through it. I don't want to set up all the structure. So the only way it benefited me was stick to the plan, do what I do. You know what I'm saying? And I always tell people I do anything financial. Even everything I do fitness, I don't want, I am that, but that's for me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to set up like, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to stick to the plan. Mm-hmm. It's part of AfroEconomics, but I still want you to be the expert in processes, you to be the expert in firearms, him, you know what I mean? Mr. Gully to be the expert in fitness. Even though that's the 10th principle of AfroEconomics, I don't have to do that. You do what you do. And, you know, like, all right, we have a principle that's organization. If I say, oh, yeah, that's Karen. You know what I'm saying? We have a principle accountability. Oh, that's Mr. Johnson. Like, I'm, you know, thinking of it like it's about all that we need as a person. But I'm focusing on your money. And work that niche and walk and hit that. You say, how do you get through a wall, right? And a lot of people give up right before they get through that wall. And the only way that AfroEconomics will achieve everything that it's supposed to is I have to stick to it. I cannot tell you how many times I have wanted to give up. Just, you know, oh, this is too much. Oh, it's too much. It's too much. And then somehow God says, wow, thank God you stuck to it. Because I got this headed for you. So you pivoting, I've had to pivot, but within my same brand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I remember when I first started, like mutual funds were the thing. Then I was like, mutual funds, boy, they charge my customer too much. It took a lot to shift from mutual funds that charge customers a lot to not charging customers a lot. And even though my customers get to save, it cut my income down. Huge. But I did it because I knew for the long term, this is what's best for me and my customer. And I thank God I'm not still out there doing that. I thank God that as soon as I knew better, I did better. Because my thing was like, oh, this is what registered investment advisors do. They use no loads and charge a small fee. That's what I do. I use no loads and I charge a small fee. Whole bunch of people don't get that. They'd rather go out there and buy a mutual fund that looks like they're not paying a fee, but they're paying 5 times what my customers are paying. It's not my job to educate that. I'd rather just focus on the customer that's smart enough to see my value. I'm not going around. Like when Paula uses that term financial literacy, y'all don't see me talk that because that's not us. We ain't financial literacy. We are intelligent Black folk. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not that. That's little kid stuff. We're talking about investment portfolios, strategies, and everything. So I don't ever want to see AfroEconomics talking about, you know, using that term. That's for babies. Y'all get that though?
Yeah.
Amen. Like, yeah. I love y'all. I love you both. Thank you, Ms. Davis. What she said? Who is that? The oh, I thought Ms. Davis was out there. She's not. She just fell apart. She just fell apart at the wheel, girlfriend. Fell apart. Look, with her YouTube playing in the background. Karen was like, she needs to turn her YouTube off. She said, oh, I'm gonna teach her that. I'm gonna teach her that. Like, look, you can't play in both places at the same time. And look, and my moral of the day is don't have water near your computer because I dumped a glass of water on my laptop computer. Now I got to get a new one.
No.
Don't you hate that?
I wish that wasn't so.
I know, you're so sweet. I know that hurts. That hurts. I'm trying to dry it out.
Yeah, and some rice.
It's a my great big laptop. So it starts, and then it goes back out. It might be over. It'll come on, and then it goes powering down. It won't hold charge. Oh, thank you, Mr. Brown. I don't know, like, you know, but it's just my perspective. I don't know if it's a correction, but, you know, that's how I see it. You know, this is more than financial literacy. This is a lifestyle. This is, you know, we're way past that. We got to get literacy from home. And then I wish more people did. You know, but I really do appreciate y'all. I got mad respect for y'all. What you do, stick to your brand, stay the course, never give up.
That part.
Amen. Never give up. I will talk to y'all soon. Take care.
Right.
Bye-bye. Thank you for your patience. I know both of y'all are very, very busy. I know this was hard. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.